I'm Snoop Dogg, and I'm giving up smoke. I know what you're thinking. Snoop, smoke is kind of your whole thing. But I'm done with it. I'm done with the coughing and my clothes smelling all funky. I'm going smokeless. Solo stove, fixed fire. They took out the smoke. Now you can have a nice blaze without any clouds ruining your day. Go smokeless. Go to solostove.com. Tell them Big Snoop Dogg sent you.
Walk the dogs, school drop-off, meetings from 10 to 3, take kids to soccer, then no time left for a jog.
When everyone else is relying on you, it's easy to put your needs last. BetterHelp connects you with a licensed therapist online, so you can show up for yourself the way you do for others. Visit BetterHelp.com/positive to get 10% off your first month. That's BetterHelp.com/positive.
Oh, a microphony.
And a phony at the mic.
Please hang on. Please. This is an official interruption of your local entertainment transmission.
This is the Bob and Jeff Show, starring Bob Lutz.
You may know less about me than anyone.
That would be terrific. That would be great, huh?
Terrific. That was terrific.
Jeff Lutz.
Well, that's what you're talking about. It's not what I'm talking about.
I mean, the only class in this act, and I'm here to tell you, this boy's soul is intact.
97.5 and 1240 KFH.
I heartily endorse this event or product.
Hello again, everybody. Welcome a Tuesday edition, the Bob and Jeff Show on KFH Radio. Bob Lutz, Jeff Lutz, co-hosting. Max Power producing, engineering. 869-1240. That is the IHOP hotline. Here we are, Tuesday, a nondescript, December 12th. Anything on your mind?
What do you mean nondescript? It's 12-12.
Anything on your mind?
Nope.
Well, that's what I mean.
Not really. Jim Rome talking about, I didn't like Jim Rome today, talking about the Lakers shouldn't hang a banner for winning the in-season tournament. Of course they should hang. I mean, that's the dumbest thing I've ever heard.
Will the in-season tournament have legs? Will it matter in the future, or was this a rather nice one-off?
I think it'll get bigger. I mean, everything has to have a beginning, right? That's like, traditions have to start somewhere. Everyone's upset, but it's only because it's new. But imagine being 9 years old right now, and they came out with this in-season tournament. And in 50 years, you're 59, and it's the 50th one, and it's a tradition, and it's something. At 68, you don't have that perspective. At 40, even, I might not even have that perspective.
I don't care what perspective I have.
But if something starts, it's got to start.
It's fine. It's not transformational to me or to anyone. It's just, okay, it was nice.
But it's year one.
They
It's
colored
the
up
first
the
one.
courts a little different. There was a little buzz. But no, I don't know that it's going to have staying power. I don't know that next season I'm looking forward to the in-season tournament.
Well, let's see what they do with it.
I don't know. I don't know that.
Adam Silver's talking about making the courts even crazier next year. So
well, what's the purpose? What are we trying to do?
We were just trying to set it apart from the rest of the...
Then they go back to the normal courts.
Right.
And then it's like, oh, this is a letdown.
Well, yeah, it is a little bit of a letdown, but it's...
Last night's games were...
Imagine
your team went into Detroit, barely beat the Pistons, for crying out loud.
That's a tough game to go into Detroit after having 3 national TV games in a row, playing Saturday against the Lakers, and then having to go to Detroit. That's tough. Detroit's terrible. They've lost 20 in a row, but it's not an easy thing to do.
Well, bad for the Pistons.
They've lost 20 in a row. The Spurs have lost 17 in a row.
Well, they're both terrible. I'd rather be the Spurs with what's his name?
Wembanyama.
Yana. I call him Giannis.
Okay. You do?
Yeah, that's what I call him.
That's not confusing.
Well, whatever. I call him Giannis, too.
Well, if the Spurs get another high draft pick, then pairing him...
Well, they're going to get another high draft pick.
Right. What about number 1? I mean, we could be building another dynasty here.
Well, we'll see. We'll see what happens. They're certainly not anywhere close to a dynasty right now.
Not even close. Nor is Detroit.
It takes time for young players to develop, even in the NBA. So hopefully the Pistons and the Spurs have better days ahead of them. Who has the best record in the NBA? I found this to be incredible.
Minnesota.
Yeah, how does that happen?
They've gelled.
They built it up slowly.
Right. They
high draft picks, young players.
Well, they have Anthony Edwards.
Well, right, high draft pick.
And Karl Anthony Towns.
High draft pick.
Yeah.
Young players.
Both number 1 overall,
That's
if
the way
I'm not
it's
mistaken.
supposed to work.
I agree.
And it seems to be working for the Timberwolves, who I have not seen play yet. Are they on television ever?
I don't think so.
Why? They got the best record in the league.
Well, I'm sure they'll
and yet
be on.
We're subjected to the Brooklyn Nets night in and night out.
Brooklyn's not bad.
Why do I have to watch that when I could be watching the Minnesota Timberwolves?
I don't know. I don't know what the thinking is. Minnesota's kind of in that central time zone weird. They don't have the 6 o'clock starts, probably. They have the 7 o'clock.
I'd tune in to watch a Minnesota-Oklahoma City game. Maybe no one else would, but I would.
Well, isn't Oklahoma City number 2 in the West right now?
That's what I'm saying.
Those are your
You're
two.
not keeping up with me.
Those
I'm
are
way
your two
ahead of you
best
today.
teams in the Western Conference.
Running out. I'm running out. I'm running far ahead of you.
Yeah,
today.
but I'm giving context to the listeners.
No, the listeners get the context.
They don't know that Oklahoma City's
when
number 2.
When I said it, they must have said to themselves, "Wonder why?" Oh yeah, they're good too.
They're good, but you could have said it because they're local.
No, I don't insult our listeners. Our
Insulting
listeners,
by giving context.
Our listeners understand that to keep up with me, all they got to do is listen.
And read your mind somehow?
Not at all.
Just try to guess what you're saying?
You want to know what we have on the show today?
I suppose.
What do you mean you suppose?
Well, I'll be ready.
You're not that interested?
I'll be ready. Throw
we
it
got
at
a
me.
heck of a show, if I say so myself.
Well, let's hear it then.
At 2:25, we're going to be joined by Tashumbe Phillips, the head girls coach at Wichita South. They play Heights tonight in a very interesting game. South unbeaten, highly ranked. Heights unbeaten, highly ranked. We'll talk with the South coach coming up at 2:25.
I believe that's a battle of top 5 clubs in 6.
Again, I got you. The listeners don't need that additional.
Yes, they do.
When I say
What's
it's a big
highly
game,
ranked?
When I say it's a big game, they fall in line.
Well, I'm sorry that you don't feel like looking things up and being better.
You didn't look anything up. You just said I believe they're.
I looked it up. I saw the rankings earlier. South's number 3, and I think Heights is number 5.
At 2:45, and I'm looking forward to this. You don't remember this group, this family group of singing group back in the day, the Cowsills. Do you remember them?
I've heard of them.
Have any recollection of them?
Not really.
They've got a new Christmas album out, and Paul Cowsill of the Cowsills.
Are they like old?
Yeah, they're not young, but they had all their siblings. They were kind of the Osmonds. They were kind of at a time when there were quite a few of those kinds of groups, the Jacksons, the Osmonds.
Partridge Family.
Yeah, the Cowsills kind of found their niche back in the day. And we'll talk to one of those members of the Cowsills, Paul, coming up at 2:45. And that's surreal to me in some ways. That we're going to be talking to a member of the Cowsills.
How many of them are still hanging around?
I think there's most of them. There were 6 in the group at the height of their popularity. And then at 3:25 today, after a game at 3 o'clock, Matt O'Brien, the men's coach at Southwestern College, they are undefeated and they are good every year. And what's that kid's name? Their star player, their guard, Kevin Clark, out of Arkansas City. He's averaging 30.
He's good.
30.
You know, we had a OB, as he's called on the show, not too long ago when you were out.
Let me ask you a question, and I'm gonna try to put this so that it doesn't appear that my ego's blowing up, because I don't have much of an ego. But what I will ask, does somebody feel like they appeared on the show if I'm not here?
Probably, yeah.
What do you?
I think they get really good questions from me. They get okay questions from you. Duda, I mean, that goes without.
What do you mean okay questions?
I think I'm
from me?
the best interviewer on the show.
You really think
I
that?
do, yeah.
I've been doing this for 60 years.
Okay, I've been doing it for.
You think you're the best interviewer on the show?
Yeah, I do.
869-1240 for anybody who wants to weigh in on that. Duda gives it his best. He's not a trained journalist person.
Well, he's not a curious guy.
Not at all.
And that's okay.
He's
Good
curious
for him.
about what people eat.
That's about it.
And that's okay. That's what gets him through life. Not everybody is curious.
That's fine. I mean, who wants to be curious, really?
Yeah, they wouldn't. What would that get Jason Duda to be curious?
I don't know. It's hard to say.
And how do we know he's not curious about something?
Do you think he is?
Oh, I think he's curious about, like I said, he's curious about what people eat, where they go.
Is he really curious, though?
Yeah.
Or is he kind of self-serving because, I might want to try that? Or, it's like maybe I'll go.
He's curious to hear new ideas. I've got an idea for what I'm going to pick up for dinner tonight.
What do you
I'm not going to tell anybody.
Okay. Not going to tell anybody?
No, I'm going to tell my wife.
Okay.
It's going to involve a little, not a long drive, but it's going to involve a drive to a deli.
I don't know where there are any delis. New York?
No, it'll involve a drive to a deli.
Do we have a lot of delis here?
We have some delis. We meet you at one quite frequently. Jason's Deli.
Yeah, I guess. McAllister's is over there.
Yeah, there's delicatessens.
I like those. I like those places.
Anyway, I'm going to pick up something for dinner tonight that my wife will be elated about.
What's exciting?
You don't want to know.
Well, I already asked. You didn't want to tell me.
You're not digging very much. So I don't have any reason
All I can do is ask.
I don't really have a reason to tell you.
Well, then don't.
You firmed up, next Friday, as the date for the Wichita Treasure Show with our friend Brent Chemnitz. So we're looking forward to that on the 22nd. On the 21st, we'll be joined for part of the show by Hunter Flanagan. How about that?
Yeah.
You don't know who Hunter Flanagan is?
I think I do.
He won a contest to appear on this show.
He did?
Yeah, he made a donation.
Well, that's exciting.
And it held up. Hunter Flanagan will be on this show on the 21st at 3 o'clock.
On my birthday? He better bring something.
And next week, next Tuesday, we have our regular appearance with Kevin Saul, Wichita State's athletic director. That will be preceded by an appearance from Wichita State men's basketball coach Paul Mills. That all coming up next Tuesday on the show. Notice how I work out into the future.
Sure, it's great.
On this show.
I am being joined by Kevin Saul tomorrow for a recording of my KWCH podcast.
What's that called, by the way?
Origins.
Origins?
Yeah.
Wasn't there a famous record by that name?
I don't know.
Look it up.
This will be like the first one that's going to go out on the video, whatever they do with that stuff. So it's...
Well, it's exciting for you. How long are these podcasts?
20, 25 minutes.
Will I ever be a subject?
You want to be?
No, I didn't ask that. That would make it appear like I'm begging. If I said, yeah, I'd love to be.
Why?
No,
I would put I want to be a guest on a podcast.
What?
I want to be a guest on podcasts.
Who would have you as a guest?
I just got Josh. He asked me a few weeks ago, and I said yes, and he didn't follow up with me.
Josh.
Oh, I'm not going to give out his last name.
Well, I wonder if he was thinking he was talking to me.
No, because I was on his podcast last year or a couple years ago.
Huh.
Did a good job with it.
I wonder why he hadn't asked me.
I don't think you have much to offer.
Oh, my God. Can you imagine me as a podcast guest?
Well, maybe I'll...
With all restrictions lifted? Where I can just be me?
Should we do a daily podcast?
No, we shouldn't.
20 minutes?
Heavens no.
Just let it loose?
No, we do it here.
You're right, but we could talk about...
If I hear you use profanity, I'll knock you out.
Why?
Because it's unbecoming of you.
Really?
Yes.
That's too bad.
Now, yesterday morning, I dropped one on my wife, unfortunately. Not on her, but she was in the nearby area and had the misfortune of hearing it.
I just don't think it's that big of a deal.
I don't like it.
Words are just words.
I used to not mind it. I don't like it anymore. I've straightened myself out, man.
Well, maybe someday I'll get there.
It feels good.
Good.
I don't do any of that stuff anymore.
But it just doesn't mean anything to me.
It's clean it up.
I'll throw out stuff. I'll throw out dumb stuff. I'll throw out funny
let's just all
stuff.
Clean it up.
I'll do my best.
That's what we ought to do. We ought to strive to clean it up a little bit.
Sure.
I unfortunately still have a bit of a temper. What would you rate my temper, 1 to 10?
Well, it's It's not that you have a temper necessarily. It's that you never really know when it's going to get set off.
What do you mean you don't ever know?
You never really know. Like when I come down here, I don't know what kind of mood you're in, so I don't say anything.
I'm always in the same mood. I don't say much to you when you come down. I want to hold it till the show starts. There's no small talk that needs to happen. You already told me about the small talk of the day. The small talk from you comes from your texting. You tell me much more in your texting than you ever would in person.
Probably, but that's true for everybody.
Not really.
For me and everybody else.
Not everybody.
Like who?
Some people like to talk.
No, I'm talking about me. Texting everybody else, I give them more by text.
Why is that?
Just, I don't know. Not much of a talker, I guess.
Well, I think you could maybe work on that.
I'm doing pretty good.
You got to talk on a podcast.
I know.
You got to introduce it. You got to be lively. You got to bring people into it. It can't be, well, Kevin, the ticket prices. You can't.
We're not going to talk about stuff like that. This isn't a current events podcast.
Well, you can't. You got to. You got to engage.
This is an origins podcast.
I understand that. You got to engage, right?
I will. I know what I'm doing.
Well, we'll see. I'll be the judge of that.
Thank you.
You started work on that Joe Hour piece?
Probably this weekend. I'll go.
That makes me very happy.
I'll go transcribe 73
If you do that,
hours.
I'll pay for your dinner next week.
I'm not going to be able to finish it by next week.
If you get it finished by next week, I'll pay for your dinner.
There's not even a chance of that.
Why?
Because I got to interview a lot of other people and transcribe. It takes a long time.
Well, get it done.
I will.
If you can promise me you'll get it done by the end of the year, I'll pay for your dinner.
End of the year?
Yep.
Into the basketball season.
No, we want Joe to have plenty of time.
Well, I got Christmas. I mean, there's a lot coming up between the end of the year and now.
We want Joe to be appeased.
Well, appease Joe.
Very important, in my opinion, that we get that taken care of.
We will. Don't you worry.
Well, I do worry a little bit about that kind of stuff.
I might go in Saturday. I might not. I'd like to. I mean, it sounds good on paper. But, man, weekends, very valuable.
I got all kinds of things coming up this Saturday.
Like?
Well, like the Passion Project. Every 2 weeks we bring in a speaker to talk to our kids about the subject of passion.
Now, would you consider having me?
No.
All right.
No, you're not there yet.
I'm not a passionate person?
You're just not there yet.
Yet?
Yeah, you're working on it. This has to be, maybe Michael Schwanke, yes, I'd consider bringing him in.
What do you think he's passionate about?
I don't know. That's for
the
him.
News?
That's for him to talk about. What triggered his passion? I'm going to speak to our kids here on the 30th as part of the Passion Project, and I got a lot to talk to them about.
What's your passion?
You know what my passion was. It was sports, and specifically baseball. And I had the laser focus of trying to figure out how I was going to turn that passion into some kind of life so that baseball and sports would be with me throughout my life. I wouldn't have to let my passion go. Although it's fine if you're just passionate about something and you go into a complete other field.
Right. A lot of people do.
But to me, kids need passion. It fuels them. And that's the idea behind the Passion Project. And Ella Backus, a Wichita artist, will be our guest on Saturday at the Leslie Rudd Learning Center at 1 o'clock.
Sounds good.
She designed the Jackie Robinson, did a lot of the work on the Jackie Robinson Pavilion, the drawings over there. She's worked a lot in the McAdams area. And can't wait to hear her. All right, time for a break. When we come back, we'll talk some high school basketball. Wichita South head coach Tashumbi Phillips will be our guest. They are unbeaten. They play Heights tonight in one of the big matchups in the City League. I remember when South Heights girls used to be everything.
That was the game.
That was the game back in the day. And maybe it will be in this day. Tashumbi Phillips next. Bob and Jeff Show, KFH.
I'm Snoop Dogg, and I'm giving up smoke. I know what you're thinking. Snoop, smoke is kind of your whole thing. But I'm done with it. I'm done with the coughing and my clothes smelling all funky. I'm going smokeless. Solo stove, fix 5. They took out the smoke. Now you can have a nice blaze without any clouds ruining your day. Go smokeless. Go to solostove.com. Tell them Big Snoop Dogg sent you.
Let's face it, most people aren't making massive turkey feasts on the regular. And after 364 days of not thinking about it, it can be hard to get that bird just right. That's where Instacart, the holiday rescue app, comes in. From getting all the ingredients to prep a full seasonal spread to getting last-minute swaps in a turkey emergency, Instacart has everything a holiday host needs to save face and save dinner. And right now, if you download Instacart, you'll get free delivery on your first 3 orders and delivery in as fast as 1 hour. Offer valid for a limited time. $10 minimum per order. Additional terms apply.
Imagine you're looking at a balancing scale with everything you do for other people on one side and everything you do for yourself on the other side. If it isn't balanced, maybe it's time to spend a little more time on you. And therapy is a great place to start. BetterHelp connects you with a licensed therapist online who can help you find that balance and stick to it. Visit BetterHelp.com/positive to get 10% off your first month. That's BetterHelp.com/positive.
If you're a business owner, you know these sounds mean sales. And from the sound of it, your business is growing. Whether you're fulfilling orders from your home office or warehouse, Stamps.com helps you stress less about mailing and shipping and spend more time doing what you love most. Listening to ASMR. I mean, growing your business. But as you grow, so does the need for efficiency. Stamps.com simplifies your shipping and mailing process. Import orders from wherever you sell online. Find the lowest rates with the fastest delivery times. Instantly deliver tracking updates to your customers. And buy shipping and mailing supplies when you run low. Save time and money on mailing and shipping. Get started at Stamps.com today with code PROGRAM for a 4-week trial, free postage, and a digital scale.
This is the Bob and Jeff Show on 97.5 and 1240 KFH.
All right, this is Good Texan from the Vaughn Brothers, Jimmy and Stevie Ray. Good and Bad, the musical theme on the show this week. Tashumbi Phillips joins us, the head girls basketball coach at Wichita South. They are at home tonight facing Wichita Heights in a game we're all anticipating. Tashumbi, welcome. How are you?
I'm doing good. How about yourself?
We're doing well. We appreciate you coming on the show today to talk about your basketball team. So you're unbeaten. Heights is unbeaten. They're really good. You're really good. This is the kind of game you sign up for, isn't it?
Yes, sir. This is what all the hard work is for.
Yeah, absolutely. So tell us about yourself, Coach. Where did you come from? Did you play? How did you end up at Wichita South?
Well, actually, I'm originally from Arkansas, and I didn't really play when I was younger, but just always had a passion. My family and brothers and all of them, they played, and how I ended up at Wichita South was basically because they were needing a coach at the time. I'm sorry about that. I'm still at school, and you hear that bell ringing. But they were needing a coach at the time, and I was being an assistant for about 5 years at that particular point. And I just thought it was time for me to step out and get my own team.
Tashumbi Phillips, our guest. We're talking Wichita South girls basketball. So what drew you into basketball? You mentioned your family, a lot of players in your family. What drew you to coaching the game of basketball?
Actually, funny story, full circle. The assistant coach over there at Heights right now, he was looking for some help in the summertime with some of his girls, and he asked me did I want to help him out. And I'm talking about Coach Ken Palmer right now. And so I told him, I said, yeah, I'll help out. And when I started to help him out, I just grew a passion for seeing these young ladies succeed and trying to get them into college and making sure that they become productive members of society.
So, South not too long ago, 10 or 15 years ago, was a dynasty, 4 championships in a row, and obviously a lot of really good seasons. What is it about that place that can, kind of spur that kind of momentum within its girls basketball program? And do you feel like you have something like that? Not that we're expecting you to win 4 straight state championships, but obviously this program's on a good footing, right?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. It was left on a good footing. Coach Antoine Scales did a great job over here when he was here. He really introduced a culture and a winning ways. And when you have that type of foundation, then people want to go and be around winning ways and do things like that. And so that's kind of how it's kind of like a mystique over here at South right now. So it's kind of like, let's go and carry on the tradition. So,
Tashumbi Phillips, our guest, head girls coach at Wichita South. They're at home tonight to play Heights. That one tips at 6 o'clock at the South High Gym. So I'm curious about your players, some of the players on your team who have given you a lot. Give us some names and tell us about some of your talent.
I have 2 captains on my team. One is Zion Butler. She's been with me my whole 4 years as a head coach over here. She's just a tenacious player, great kid, just a student of the game. She's just been, when you have a kid that's been in your program for 4 years, it becomes easy for them after a while. And my other captain, Ramaya Kennedy, she's probably one of my headier players, smart, knows the game really well, can play inside out. She does a lot for us. She's like our utility knife, you know what I mean?
So how nice is it? And, when we talk about City League basketball, a lot of times it's the haves and the have-nots. And, Carroll's always going to be there. But 3 6A programs, public schools doing it right now between you and Heights and Southeast, all with chances to go to the state tournament and have really good years. How nice is that to be part of that and to have that level of competition right now?
That is it is a wonderful thing, especially on the girls' side of basketball. I was telling the girls yesterday at practice that they should be very proud of themselves for carrying on their sport because, as a lot of you may know, girls basketball just doesn't get the recognition that I think that it should get. And it's been a buzz around town about this game. So I'm just happy to be a part of it. Like you said, we have 3 teams that can contend for a state championship this year, and it's just nice to be a part of that.
Tashumbi Phillips, our guest, Wichita South girls coach. So Heights is 2-0. They've played 2 games. They've given up a total of 15 points. I can't even comprehend that. I'm not going to talk about the talent level that they played against. To hold teams regardless to that number of points is incredible. So what do you have to do to score against Heights? What do you have to do to be in this game and make it a fourth quarter game?
We just know we have to be patient. We have to be disciplined. They are a tenacious team. They play really hard. We just have to know. We know that we have to be not have a lot of turnovers and try and just make this game what everybody wants to come see. Get into the fourth quarter and make the best team win when you get there.
Have you met Kip? I think he was, he was coach at Heights before the 5 years that you said you were an assistant. So have you had any interactions with him before? You guys know each other? Yes, sir. I do. I know Kip very well. Always been a fan of Coach Pulliam. He won state championships as well. It's always good to be able to go up against somebody that's is a student of the game and knows the game very well.
Well, we appreciate you coming on and talking about this game, giving us some insight into yourself and your team. Really looking forward to it tonight. Heights and South, a big battle of City League unbeatens down at South High School, 6 o'clock tip-off to Shumby. Thanks so much.
Hey, not a problem. Thank you, guys.
All right. There you go. As we strive to get coaches on our air, there's another one.
There you go. It's a good one.
I believe we've had him on previously, haven't we?
Not that I remember. I don't think so.
Good guy. Sounds very friendly. I hope that game's good tonight.
I'm sure it will be. I might pick South to win that one.
Really?
I might, yeah. South's really good.
That's what your crew over at Catch It, Kansas is telling you?
Just kind of, paying attention. I'm not saying that Heights is going to lose, or that just might be my pick.
Well, it'd be fun to go to that game, but
South
I don't.
Just hammered Capon.
Yeah, it'd be fun to go to that game, but I don't know that I'm going to make it. I'll be trying to follow it on Twitter best I can.
Yeah, that's what we do.
I need to know who to follow on that game. Who would you suggest?
Well, I think South.
Joanna Chadwick?
I think South and Heights have accounts.
Yeah, but are they working them during the game?
Yeah, I think so.
I think so doesn't do me any good. You have a terrible habit of that. You're never definitive. You always leave a little crack in the door. I think so. I'm pretty sure. Probably. It all drives me nuts.
It's hard to say anything definitive. I mean,
there is a way to communicate in this world.
What if the guy doing the Heights Twitter account, he's out of town today? I mean,
okay. I'll deal with that later.
But as far as I know, yeah.
I'll deal with that later. I want definitive answers. Don't leave me hanging. See, even
there's nothing definitive in this.
Our good little puppy dog, Misty, doesn't enjoy that.
I think she's getting riled up by you. Getting riled up.
It makes me very content when she stays down here during radio.
I like it also.
Now she's thinking about going upstairs. I can tell.
She wants to.
We'll see. We'll see what she does. Right there, she is, coming more toward me. As long as I rub her while I also do the show, which, folks, is not easy.
It's not hard.
That's not easy to do. To keep that kind of concentration level.
It isn't
going. But anyway, I hope to be able to follow that game tonight. What other games are of interest this evening?
So why do you do that?
Well, because you just said you're keeping in the loop. You're in touch. You're pretty aware of things. So, what would keep me from asking you what other games could be interesting? South Heights boys could be okay.
It might. No, it absolutely won't be.
The South boys aren't terrible.
They're going to get destroyed. I'm sorry. I mean, I don't like doing this. I don't
know why you
like just lining up and you say something and it's crazy.
Well, I don't know why you do that. That's not your best foot forward.
But I have to call it like it is. South will not hang with Heights.
I don't know about that.
Trust me.
We'll see.
Trust me.
I don't trust you. You don't know anything. You haven't seen a game.
That will be a 30-point game.
You haven't seen a ball game.
We got Cheney Moundridge, but not tonight.
Again, nothing.
Well, none of these games. Oh, here's some December 12th games.
What do we got?
I'm not seeing Newton Campus. Does that do anything for you?
Campus, I'm intrigued by because of Adrell Burton.
Yeah, he's good.
He intrigues me. If that gym was bigger. See, this is an old man.
Central Goddard?
Who?
Salina Central, Goddard.
If the gym was bigger down at campus, I'd go see Campus and Derby.
Southeast, Northwest, that doesn't do it. Mays South, Mays, maybe.
Yeah, but Mays isn't very good.
I don't know. I don't know if they play today.
Anyway.
Seems like they do.
We're awaiting Paul Cowsill from the Cowsills. They have a very brand new Christmas record out, and Paul's going to promote that, and we'll talk to him about that group. And played a little Cowsills for you during the break. My personal favorite song, Hair, which was outstanding.
Oh, okay. I mean, I don't know much about the Cowsills music, but I'm trying to learn over here.
Well, listen, they were a pretty popular group back in the mid to late 60s into the 70s. And, that's kind of my wheelhouse, and, that I'm going to have thoughts on all that.
Yeah, absolutely.
What are you looking at? What are you so
We're trying to read about the Cowsills.
Well, what do you need to know?
I'm trying to figure this out. They wrote a song for Kareem Abdul-Jabbar. I don't know. I don't know about all. I just don't know.
Well, Kareem came along at that time. They were on the Ed Sullivan Show. They were on the Tonight Show. They were on American Bandstand. They were on all of it.
They're the Cowsills.
They were the Cowsills. Exactly. That's what I'm trying to tell you.
Absolutely.
Now, the fact that there are still the boomers out here in the world means that the Cowsills still have relevancy.
Why are the boomers? I mean, is my generation going to be like that?
Drives you nuts, doesn't it?
Not really. We
just kind of overtook the world.
I'm just trying to understand
because we're baby boomers.
I'm just trying to understand it. I'm not
because there were so many of us.
I'm not mad at anybody.
And then we're like an army of ants. We won't go away. It doesn't matter what you do to us. It's like we're still reproducing. And it's just,
but are millennials going to be like, wow,
Third
Eye Blind still doing it?
Nah, millennials don't matter as much.
I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about when you're gone, the baby boomers, and millennials are in their 60s. Are we going to be like, hey, Matchbox 20's out there playing?
Because there's no deep-rooted love for that.
Yes, there is. Of course there is.
The 60s and 70s were unlike anything.
Okay, well, a lot of people feel that way about the 90s and early 2000s.
I don't think a lot of people do.
They absolutely do. Why do you think 90s has had such a resurgence? And
I haven't noticed it.
You haven't?
No.
All these shows getting rebooted, all these tours. I mean, we had Coolio on the show, God rest his soul, because he was coming with a 90s tour. There's a whole bunch of 90s.
There's still bands touring from my era.
That's what I'm saying. Are the 90s bands going to be still performing in 30 years?
I don't see it.
Or 20 years. Most of these guys are like 50. Like the Goo Goo Dolls. Do they have another 2 decades in them?
Maybe. I don't know.
It'll depend on us, right?
It will depend on you. And you're spending your money going to see the boomers.
Yes, absolutely.
So what does that tell you? You can't have it both ways. You can't get after me about being a boomer.
I'm not getting after you.
And then lay down all this money to go see the band most associated with boomers, the Eagles.
That's us.
No, that's not you. You're an outlier.
Well, the Eagles are for everybody. But I'm just saying, I'm trying.
You don't have a band from your era.
Of course, plenty of bands.
Give me one that you just
Pearl Jam?
love. That you just you're just
that I love.
Yeah.
There aren't many. I mean, I like the bands that I've mentioned. I like the Goo Goo Dolls, Matchbox 20.
You
I
like them, but you're not following.
That's
them
what
on
I'm saying.
tour.
Are there people who will keep the Goo Goo Dolls alive for 20 more years?
Well, we're still. All right, we're going to get with Paul Cowsill here in a moment. Maybe get some of his thoughts on music, and the Cowsills still out there producing records, touring, all these years later,
right?
When they started. So
are they touring or just?
No, they're still touring.
Okay,
they'll be out there in 2024. Going from town to town, the way tours operate. You know how that works, right?
I do.
Max, let me know when we have him.
Well, kill some airtime.
What do you mean kill some airtime? I've killed 10 minutes without hardly anything from you, by the way.
Hardly anything. I contributed I carried that conversation, actually.
Well, I don't know. You did your same old anti-boomer
No,
thing.
I wasn't doing anti-boomers. Again, it was an exploration of, will my generation be like that? Because obviously yours is very tight-knit, and you do relate to each other pretty well.
Yeah, we do. Thank you for those kind words.
Well, it's the truth.
It's very nice of you. All right, here's some Cowsills as we... There we go. We're hot. There's some Cowsills for you. Paul Cowsill joins us on the hotline with a brand new Christmas record. Paul, welcome. How are you?
I am fantastic. Thanks for having me on today.
Great. We were just talking about your era of music and how it still has appeal to those of us. And I'm in the club. I'm a baby boomer, and
right.
We still love our music. We still go out and we purchase music. We go out to concerts that feature the bands we grew up with. Is that unique to baby boomers, in your opinion?
Absolutely, I think it is, because there's so many of us, so many years are included in that generation of baby boomers. And we never had MTV. We didn't have VH1. There was none of this, downloading or any of this. Like what you said in your pre-thing there was that we would hear a radio, we'd hear the song, we'd go and get the album, and usually before we even played the album, we'd read the album. And there was all sorts of liner notes and this and that, and I miss it. I miss the touching of the albums, of the music, and reading up on how it might have been done, or just all the stuff that goes with the hard copy. I was told, Omnivore, our record company, said, yeah, it's going to be a digital download only. And so I said to the president, I go, well, where do I get it? And he goes, download it. Anyway, you can go to Omnivore and get it, the EP, and you can download it from them. But it is a different world out there, and I think that our people are, like what you were saying, they went, they heard it, they got the record, and then they had to go see the band. And I talked to a lot of audience members, and they're all saying, this is the way I want to end my musical career, with going to a concert, and they're still doing it, and God love them all, because I've gone to the lobby after the people are already in their seats, and the walls are just littered with, chairs and walkers and remote chairs, and it's incredible to see what our people go through, so they can go to the concert and they can be there live and see this all live.
Do you think, Paul, that nostalgia is a little bit of a double-edged sword? Because obviously you want to grow as a musician and try different things and be creative. I'm talking about musicians in general. I'm sure you probably fit into that category as well. But a lot of people who grew up with the music want to hear the songs that they grew up with. So how do you try to evolve while also pleasing that segment of the audience that is kind of there for the old hits?
Yep, and it's a double blade, because the thing is, gosh, how do I say it? I'm tongue tied right now. What was the exact question again?
Just the nostalgia and
how do you grow as a musician when you're tied so much to your musical past?
Well, what you have to do is keep writing. And keep moving on personally in what you feel music is to you. However, if somebody calls us and goes, guys, we want you to do a show, we want it to be 20 minutes, we want your 5 hits, and that's it. Well, we're happy to do that as well, because we're nostalgic for those times as well. Look at, when we're doing a concert with the whole band and not like on a Happy Together tour, we try to sneak in songs off of rhythm. And we'll even say, hey, if anybody needs to go to the bathroom, go ahead. We're going to do an original song, And for whatever reason, though, our people, they clap for the new stuff. Although they love the old stuff so much, they're still open-minded enough to hear what they're wanting to hear. And I think if you're giving them that, then you're accepted whether you're doing new stuff or old stuff.
Talking with Paul Cowsill from the band, the Cowsills. They've got a brand new Christmas offering out called A Christmas Offering from the Cowsills, which I'm sure is doing extremely well. I'm always curious. We talked early in the show when we announced that you were going to join us about the number of musical groups that were tied to family. And we mentioned the Jacksons and several others, the Partridge Family, the list goes on and on. Was that just kind of a thing in that era, or how did the Cowsills form and come together and decide that, hey, we're going to give this a shot?
Right. Well, back in the 50s, when even the older guys were really young rugrats, my mom was an angel at singing. And she just took Billy, who was our oldest brother, and, loved singing so much that she taught him how to harmonize. And then they were harmonizing together. And then our dad was in the Navy for 30 years. He comes back from some trip and brings a guitar and gives it to Bill. And Bill just picked away at it. This is well before Elvis, Elvis was happening, but he hadn't hit it big. I mean, we're talking 50s. And it just kind of went from there, And so then Bill, looking for somebody, he saw Bob, and he taught Bob how to play the guitar. And then those two would go around, just singing together at the church socials, the regular start places. And so then, all of us started getting interested in that. And, of course, the Beatles finally did come, because we were doing hootenannies and folk music prior to the Beach Boys, honestly. And we were all in that. I mean, Mom, my brother Richard, who was never in the band, the Cowsills, he was all a part of that. And we were all there, really little kids. And then we just kept going and going, and the Beatles came out, and Bob and Bill, they're going, oh, my gosh, look at this. They didn't even realize, well, what is that weird guitar with 4 strings? They didn't even know there was a bass guitar, involved in music. And they just saddled up to it, and they played and played. And at one point, I've got to imagine, because I think Dad might have been tired of buying stuff without getting anything back. And so he came to all of us and said, all right, you guys, well, here we go. We've got all the gear, and you guys are pretty darn good. Is this something you want to do? And everybody went, yeah, let's do this. And he went up to Brown University, and we set up in the, in their big courtyard and just started playing. And all these frats and fraternities kept coming up, handing, my dad would hand out cards, and boy, it really started that way. And then all of a sudden we're playing Greek weekends, and, they're asking my dad, can we give you $100 more and have them do Wooly Bully yet again? Because we'd do Wooly Bully like 3 or 4 times a night. And it just started along like that, and it became serious. We lived in Newport, Rhode Island, where they had the yacht races and the folk festival and the jazz festival. So although we were on a really small island, we were really in a hub. And, we were playing clubs around Newport, and, people from the Today Show happened to be in for the yacht races. And they saw the guys, somewhere, and all of a sudden they're booking the Today Show with Barbara Walters and Hugh Downs. That's how long ago it was. And then from that, somebody from a record company, Mercury Records, actually it was Artie Kornfeld, he saw that and then got a hold of us, and he says, I've written a song for you guys. It's called The Flower Girl. Well, he couldn't use The Flower Girl because there was already a song out and a hit that said Flower Girl in it. So Artie decided to name it The Rain, the Park, and Other Things, which is one of those funny songs where you never sing the title of the song. And boy, I'll tell you, from that Rain, the Park, and Other Things, we finally did get on a bus tour, and it was just like the Partridge Family bus tour, and we went all over the United States. By the time we got to California, we were a big hit. So who could tell?
So this Christmas EP that you got out digitally, like you mentioned, downloadable, it's called A Christmas Offering, which I think is like the most humble name for a record. I hope Taylor Swift comes out with a Taylor Swift Offering, her next album. So what is the offering? And I know you got 2 original songs plus Winter Wonderland. What went into the composition and the production of those 2 songs?
Well, we signed to Omnivore last year, and, we were in there with Rhythm of the World, our new album, and they were loving that, but Omnivore is a company that just likes to put out a lot of stuff, and so they were asking us what else we might have. And so we told them, wow, we got this Christmas song that we've had forever. We just haven't been able to put it out because we haven't really had a record company in 50 years. And they heard it, and they loved it. Now, they heard it last, like, October, and they wanted to rush it right through last year, you know, and we hadn't even mixed or mastered it yet. And so they were really anxious to do it. They loved the song. They went, oh, my God, a real traditional song as opposed to a pop song with Christmas lyrics. This is a real original, sounding right like a Christmas carol should sound. And then Some Good Years, well, that's a song we did a while ago, and it just talks about you might have a lot of negatives or, you know, a lot of things go wrong when you're younger, but, you know, as you keep growing and stay alive and get old enough, all the good shines through. You seem to forget all the negatives, and all the positives seems to just go along with you. That's how we look at it. And so that's what that's about. And then during the time of recording the new album, we had some time, and so we went and acapella'd. We did an acapella album, and what we did was we acapella'd all the hits. And Bob goes, yeah, we'll do the hits, and we'll do them acapella and put all the instruments in with our voices. And I go, why are we going to do those songs yet again? He goes, because it'll be fun. And true it was. And, boy, it came out great. And so Winter Wonderland was a part of that acapella album. And being Christmas, we just pulled it off of that and put it here as one of these 3 songs.
Well, impressive stuff. The fact that you're still excited and doing new music this long into your career is pretty amazing. It's surreal to be able to talk to someone from the Cowsills, because I'm one of those baby boomers who kind of came up with you and certainly remembers your music from that time. We really appreciate it. You're going to be out on tour in 2024. You've got your brand new Christmas record. Things are churning for you, Paul.
They're churning or they're churning, because I don't know what we're going to turn to, but we keep getting booked. People keep showing up to the shows. Do you know, on the Happy Together tour, and there are 6 acts, so you're going to have 30 million sellers being sung to you that night. Hey, you might not have original people in a particular band, but it's all about the songs, and I think that's what kept us going. All of us baby boomers, that the songs were so singable, and we all sang them, and you know, we'd be at school, in grammar school, and we'd all be singing it, and it was just a movement, and the baby boomers were a big part of it. Most baby boomers I talk to, they're coming to the show. They're not going to be watching a video. Look, we had no MTV, we had no VH1. We knew how we had to go to the concert to see this band live, and people want to do that still. They want to see the live bands. They don't want to see it on video all the time. So, yeah.
Well, good stuff, and we really do appreciate you coming on to talk about your experience with the Cowsills. Best of luck in the new year and with your new Christmas record, Paul.
Thank you so much, and Merry Christmas and Happy New Year to everybody.
You
Thanks
bet.
a lot.
Paul Cowsill
All right, guys.
from the Cowsills joining us. So he mentioned the Happy Together tour, the 2024 lineup. Involves the Cowsills, the Vogues, Badfinger. Oh my God, where are they? Well, where
love
are
your
they?
Badfinger.
I do love my Badfinger. The Association, Jay and the Americans, and the Turtles. I can't even.
Right up your alley.
Oh, that is right up my alley.
Where are they?
Well, I got to find that out. I got to look that up.
Surely that's a Hartman Arena type situation, wouldn't it be? Or,
well, I think it looks like they're not coming that close to Wichita. They're in Florida, New Jersey, Massachusetts, back to New Jersey, New Hampshire, Ohio, and Wisconsin.
no Midwest dates?
Nope.
That's weird.
Boy, I would be all over that. All over it.
Yeah, that'd be fun.
That would be a lot of fun. I did see the Turtles. They were on a similar kind of tour with Mountain and the Zombies and several others out at Cessna Stadium.
What's Mountain's hit?
Look it up.
Okay.
Mountain. Max will play their hit as we go to break. I put this on Max because I know he can produce.
You think so?
Yeah.
Well,
the lead singer for Mountain's a famous guy. And you, of course, you catch me off guard.
Mountain is Mississippi Queen.
Yes. Mississippi Queen. You know what I mean. Oh, my God.
Is that the lyric?
I can't wait. Max, do you have it? We're going to take a break. Here's some Mountain. We'll get it off.
Leslie West is their lead singer. Is he famous?
He is pretty famous. Mountain had moments.
Yeah, they had a huge hit.
And that was a very enjoyable concert, by the way. And I wish I could remember all the other bands that were there. There were probably...
Where was it?
Out at Cessna Stadium.
Long time ago?
15 years ago.
I'll look it up.
Yeah, look it up.
I will.
I can't remember what the name of that tour was.
I'll figure it out.
As we go to break, and we've got a game coming up as hour number 2 will begin, we're also going to talk to Matt O'Brien, the head men's basketball coach at Southwestern College, making his second appearance in a short time on the show, but his first with me. And that will be meaningful to Matt O'Brien. So we look forward to that. All right, Max, let's go ahead and take it to break.
I'm Snoop Dogg, and I'm giving up smoke. I know what you're thinking. Snoop, smoke is kind of your whole thing. But I'm done with it. I'm done with the coughing and my clothes smelling all funky. I'm going smokeless. Solo stove, fix 5. They took out the smoke. Now you can have a nice blaze without any clouds ruining your day. Go smokeless. Go to solostove.com. Tell them Big Snoop Dogg sent you.
Imagine you're looking at a balancing scale with everything you do for other people on one side and everything you do for yourself on the other side. If it isn't balanced, maybe it's time to spend a little more time on you. And therapy is a great place to start. BetterHelp connects you with a licensed therapist online who can help you find that balance and stick to it. Visit BetterHelp.com/positive to get 10% off your first month. That's BetterHelp.com/positive.
Why is Instacart the holiday rescue app? Because you can get all your seasonal decor delivered instead of having to drive to 12 different stores. Candles and candy canes? Delivered. Wreaths and reindeer? Delivered. Lights from Lowe's? Delivered. And since I know you're going to ask, inflatable snowman? Delivered. So this season, stay in and get decked out. Download Instacart, the holiday rescue app, to get free delivery on your first 3 orders. Offer valid for a limited time. $10 minimum per order. Additional terms apply.